Practical steps are not the opposite of magic. They're what lets that magic move fast. And the way that this comes in with ritual and manifesting is rushing it, is bypassing it, is just paying lip service to the ritual. Again, it's not enough to just visualize or make the vision board or light the candle. We have to be really intentional about, can I hold, and what do I need to change in myself and in my world to be able to hold this vision that I'm calling in. Hi, my love, and welcome back to Wild Flow Podcast with me, Charlotte Pointeaux. It's Lionsgate portal today, tomorrow, the 8th of the 8th. And this exact window is a potent manifestation portal. And so if you're hearing this now, it's the perfect time to do a Lionsgate ritual. And if you've got one planned, make sure you listen to this to make sure that you supercharge this ritual, because there's one key step that most people miss when it comes to manifestation. Most people will use 8 of the 8th to manifest more, but it's not enough to just ask the universe. And this is what we are unpacking today. When you dream so big, but it never lands, have you checked whether you can actually hold what you're calling in? This is the big question, because if you are not ready to hold it and receive it and be a good steward of it, then it's not a resonant match for where you're at. You're not actually going to be able to land it. It can't drop in. It will take a long time. It might never happen. Think about when you're pregnant, when you want to have a baby, or maybe when you already are pregnant. You're not just going through the motions and living a normal life. You're envisaging life as a mother. You're preparing to meet that baby. You're questioning who that baby might be and what life will be like with them. You're planning the nursery, picking colors, making decorations, getting the cot, the pram, the whole thing. You're really working on your body as well. You're making sure your body is healthy and strong, and there's things you're not eating anymore. There's changes that you're making to become the mother to that baby before the baby's already here. And it's the same with manifestation. It's essential that we are doing this, preparing to receive this manifestation baby. And if we don't, then we're not going to be able to nurture it and hold it and raise it as best as we can. So one reason that often it doesn't land is this feeling of perfectionism. It's like a closed loop. Envisage the 8, the symbol of the lion's gate, the 8 lying on its side. It's an infinity symbol, but also it's a circulation that has nowhere to go. It's controlled. It never lets anything all the way in or out. It's a closed loop system. Lionsgate asks you to stand that 8 back up, to open the loop, to bridge heaven and earth, and the practical as well as the spiritual and energetic, and to let that energy circulate, to move between the realms, to let it land from the 5D to the 3D. And nowhere does this strangle abundance more than with money. Think about the offer that you won't create until it's proven, the email you won't send till it's perfect, the offer that you're like thinking about launching, but you're already worrying about nobody coming. Think about the money that you want to make, but is your body fully able to hold that? Is your business practically set up to hold the number of clients who you will need to have in to make that kind of money? Do you have the structure, the systems? Do you have the support? Is your pricing even right? Or are you going to have so many clients across your business to make the money that you want? Or does your pricing need a change to mean that you can have the number of clients that you actually can hold at the price that you can hold? So if you're dreaming too big and shooting too high, you don't have the structure in your business or the energetic ability to hold and land and not wobble when you receive that money, it's not going to be able to come. So this is super fucking important to get before you manifest. And so we are bridging the spiritual and the practical, heaven and earth, the vision and the body. And there's no separating them in my world. So let's go look at what Lionsgate is. You might have heard of it. You might be seeing things popping up on Instagram. You might work with this energy every single year. But let's just clarify. So it peaks on August the 8th, 8 of the 8th. And this year in 2026, it's Saturday, August 8th. The sun is in Leo and it's aligning with Sirius, which is the spiritual sun, the brightest star, as it makes its helical rising near the eastern dawn horizon. And ancient Egyptians, which is where the Lionsgate portal originates, this rising once signaled the flooding of the Nile. And so it was start of the new year, because the flooding of the Nile meant abundance, the return of abundance, a time of plenty. That is why Lionsgate is associated with manifestation. But this isn't just a local sky event tied to one place. It's a Sun Sirius Earth alignment. And so the energetic imprint is felt as a shared worldwide movement. It's not just a regional one. And 2026 specifically carries extra weight astrologically. It lands right after Mercury's post-retrograde shadow clears, and it's right before, days before, a total solar eclipse in Leo that's on August 12th. So astrologers are calling this year's gate unusually charged because of that stacking. We've also got Jupiter, the planet of expansion, abundance, and big possibilities, in Leo right now. It has just recently moved into Leo. And so this is acting like a cosmic megaphone, a huge amplification of these already really potent abundance and manifestation and expansion energies. I also work with the Wheel of the Year, and I want to really bring in how the seasonal energies are holding this as well. So in the Northern Hemisphere, we've just crossed the seasonal point of Lammas, which is at the very start of August. So it's this point where we are 6 weeks after the summer solstice in the north, and it's the first of 3 traditional grain harvests. We've got Lammas now. The equinox coming up at the end of September is the second. And then we've got the final, the nut harvest, around the time of Halloween. So you're in this energy, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, of beginning to harvest, beginning to see the fruits of the labor, the fruits of your creation of the year. You're at this point now in the cycle where it's everything is coming to show, like the proof is in the pudding. So it's a time of gathering and receiving, and the return on investment, the return on your energy, all of the work of your creation is coming through. So we're entering harvest season in the north. And then in the southern hemisphere, we are 1 point past winter solstice, and at this portal of Imbolc, which means in the belly. And it's a time where we're still in winter. It's still really cold outside, but you can already see those first flowers are starting to bloom, and the trees have got these tiny little leaf buds. The day is already lengthening, and it's signaling to nature that energy is returning, momentum is coming. And so the energy is there to hold that growth, as in there's enough now light for the trees and the plants to start photosynthesizing again to make energy. So it's this time of swelling energy. So wherever you're at, it's this real time of creation. Another point that I want to make is that we really focus these days on the calendar year. So January the 1st being this time of making a new year resolution, we're making a word of the year, this birthing and visioning point. That really does make sense for you if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. But now you're at this harvest point. And so it's, what do you need to do to maximize your harvest? And for those of us in the Southern Hemisphere, now is actually the time to be planning your vision, your word, your intention for the growth cycle, which goes from midwinter to midwinter. But in the Southern Hemisphere, that is June, the end of June, so the winter solstice. Now we're just starting that first manifestation period of the year, and it will go all the way back through to June next year. So have that in mind. Are you seeding or harvesting? Now, everybody's does vision boards. You might be creating an altar. You might be making an intention. You might be lighting a candle. I love making spell jars. All of these things are beautiful and are really potent way of amplifying and focusing energy. When we are manifesting, we are focusing energy into creation. We are feeling into what it is we want, the vision of that, the energy of that, the expansion of that. And we are focusing it, we're claiming it, and we are saying, that is what I want. Manifesting is an extremely powerful process. But I do think that whilst it lifts your vibration and it fuels your creativity and it helps you to see what you want, it doesn't have deep enough roots. It's like it's got its head chopped off if we're not actually really anchoring that in the mundane, in the physical, in the 3D, in the practical. So most manifestation talk really stops at that dream, at that vision. I think of it like a balloon that is like a helium balloon and it's floating in the sky. But if it's not weighted down, it's going to fly away. And who knows where it's going to land. Like it's unanchored, it's unfocused. It just goes where the wind takes it, and that wind can change. The weight is what holds it steady and it keeps its point. It keeps its focus. We know what its purpose is. It's bringing beauty to that moment, right? It's not just floating off into the air. So we can't just be surrendering our manifestations to the universe and saying, hey, universe, deliver me my vision, right? If we're not anchoring it in the practical, in the physical, if it's not rooted down into the earth, we've got to bridge the divine back to the human, back to the real world, the material world. And so we can speed everything up rather than just shooting into the wind by giving it coordinates, giving this manifestation coordinates of where we want that energy, universe, those universal energies and forces, the divine to support us. Where do we want that energy to flow? Think of how people nowadays, we're all on AI. So think of opening up ChatGPT, thinking, I need to like revise my website. If you just ask it to do that, it's going to draw on everything that's already out there on the internet, and it's going to look at what the typical framework for doing that is. And it's going to build you something so generic, so boring, so lame. It's going to just sound like absolutely everybody else. And you're going to get lost in the crowd of everybody, right? You don't stand out. There's no humanity in it. Everyone's going to know that it's generic. It's like paying lip service to the idea of a website. What we actually need to do is give it brand guidelines, specifics of your tone, your voice, your frequency, phrasing that you use, colored guidelines, the font, the layout, like specifics on who you are and what you do, what your like big vision, your transformation is, the methodology of how you work. You want to be really feeding it your energy so it knows how to infuse it with your personality to make a website that is yours. It does its job. It explains who you are and what you do, but it also lets people feel you. So that's just a way of really thinking about it. With your manifestation, are you just opening ChatGPT and getting it to do it for you to save you time? Or are you actually really being super specific, but giving it all the context, all of the material, all of the framework and the structure that this needs to be fully raised and ripen and give you that bountiful harvest? This is the entire point. Okay. And so if you're a healer, a genius in your craft, a coach, you're sensitive, you're spiritual, the business side is usually the part you're going to resist. You did not necessarily come into your business to go, oh, I'd love to start an online business because I just froth over running businesses. I froth over, the strategy of it. And I froth over, just tracking my numbers and doing all of that admin behind the scenes. No, the business is to serve a function, and it's to support your soul work, your genius, your gifts, your craft, who actually make a living for you so you can do this and do nothing else. And it's here to amplify your transformation, your magic, your medicine, and create change in the world. It's the vehicle. Okay. So when we are like really attuned to the work we're here to do and really connected to our big purpose in the world, to all of our magic and medicine. And when we are like thinking about, okay, I actually need this business to not just be like a little side thing on my around my day job. I need it to grow. I want to, I can see this legacy that I have. I want to have my own trainings. I want to have my own school. I want to be the known go-to healer or coach or priestess. I want to write books and be on stages, and I want to make this much money that so that I can give it back. I can pay it forwards. I can contribute to meaningful change in the world, so I can be at home with my children or like have a softer life. Whatever it is, that big vision, okay, but then how are we actually running the business that is going to allow that to happen? This is the resistance gap between having the vision and having it land. And practical steps are not the opposite of magic. They're what lets that magic move fast. And sometimes when we feel like we're just not good at it and we don't know what we're doing, it's easier to bury our heads, or that perfectionist piece can come in where we feel like we're comparing ourselves to somebody else and we're like, I should be further ahead by now, or I'm actually afraid underneath perfection is a fear of rejection or abandonment, or getting it wrong, because failing means we've tried and it's not worked, and maybe we're not worthy of actually having it. Maybe we can't do it. So it can make us avoid these things where we don't feel masterful, that are actually so important. So most of us now, if we are getting our businesses up and running, if we're not at the point yet where we're multi six figures, if we're in those first few $1,000s a month, for example, if we're working up to six figures, or if we're in the first six figures at the lower end, then you're most likely probably been running your business alone. You might have a VA, and a VA virtual assistant can be absolutely wonderful. They might be there to do some tasks for you and lighten your load, but they're still not a mirror. They're still not your right-hand gal in your business. She's not a co-founder. She's not another version of you. She's not making the decisions that you're making. She's not seeing opportunities and telling you about them. She's not looking at the blocks and calling you into account and saying, hey, I can feel where you haven't even considered this as a possibility, or I'm feeling that there's resistance here and let's go and meet that. She's not saying, oh, I've got this great idea for a strategy or a program or a launch. She's just doing what you're delegating. Okay. And so it's really tricky because we become the jack of all trades in our business instead of just being the master of the one thing that you are incredible at, and that is being you. That is your craft, your genius. And it's really hard to then shine and just do the thing that we want to do when we've got to run this business and bring in the structure that really holds it. So we either do the thing where we bury our head and we just like want to be in the healing side of things, but then we're overworking, we're being underpaid, we're filling appointments and session times and booking people in for like hour-long slots, instead of selling packages or running group programs or considering a business model that has multi-layers of offers where you don't need to be live doing everything. You're stuck in that place of the grind, the hamster wheel, filling your hours, selling your hours, always looking for the next client, instead of thinking about deepening relationships, working with women consistently over time, moving them along the client journey, the bigger transformational, building that bigger body of work. You can't do that if you're just spinning on this side of things in your genius. We have to become willing and able to look at the strategic, the practical, the money side of things, so that then we can afford the business managers and the specialists who are excellent at what they do, who can manage you and help really not just lighten your load, but amplify all your work, where you actually do get to just stay in your genius, right? And so without that mirror, we can get paralyzed super easily, trying to factor everything in alone. It can become really overwhelming when we've got these ideas or we're like trying to preempt everything that might come up as a problem. And we can get stuck. But This perfectionism as paralysis, what it actually looks like day to day is things like, oh, my copy is not polished, or oh, I've got so many ideas of content. Which one do I actually post so that they um, weave together and actually make sense and sell something? I'm not just making viral content that's entertaining. We're not here to be influencers. We're actually here to make money from our services. It might be I've got all of these ideas, like 12 possible directions, and no idea to really tell which offer I should work on or which is my next step. With this absence of a mirror, it's really difficult to see what we can't see, to see the bigger picture and really trust our ability to make those decisions to move forward. And it's not a flaw, it's just how it is. And so, this is why I really build the practical and embodied identity work together in my coaching, private coaching, and every program. I don't separate them because they are both necessary to work on the practical steps and the embodied identity so that you can land the vision in both realms. And I'd love to just share an example of this. So, most of my clients are women in their 30s, 40s, largely mothers, often neurodivergent as well. Capacity is low, especially as our bodies, hormone cycle changes, are kicking in. We're already sensitive in our nervous systems, and then we're becoming more sensitive to those fluctuating hormones and the stress of life. Magical women, coaches, healers, priestesses with deep sensitivity and passionate soul work. I'm really passionate that we need our businesses to work hard for us. Our businesses, as a vehicle, as a container, they need to be making money for us. They need to be holding a lot for us. And they need that structure, the systems, the processes, and a lot of the technological automations that we have access to now. They need to be working well for us efficiently. And so if the business can work hard for us, then that saves us, it buys us back some of that capacity. The business needs to be consistent every day in that way so that we don't have to be consistent and show up on graft at the same level every single day. People working weekends, people working nights, and not factoring our cyclical energy, not having capacity to be there with children because, oh, hang on, I've just got to do this thing. And so I'm not saying that business isn't hard work. We all know it is. I'm not selling a fake dream and saying it's easy, wave a magic wand. But I'm saying we need to be able to hold both sides of things, make wise decisions, wise choices, and manifestations in our business so that we can be wise stewards and able to actually hold this growth that we're calling in. A real story. One of my beautiful, beloved clients who I've been working with for a long time wanted to make more money, is coming up to their harvest season, so Northern Hemisphere, wanted to launch a brand new course. But the one she wanted to launch wasn't the natural next step in her existing client journey. The funnel that we've been building out for a while that begins with a beautiful quiz that helps her women recognize the threshold they're standing at, then invites them into a deeper next step and the one after that, and ultimately leading towards her private coaching, her group mastermind. So we've got the lead magnet, the quiz, the low ticket offer, the upsell. The natural next step was building out that mid ticket, the bridge, and the emails and the automations and the beautiful heart-centered ways that she can invite her women to work with her at deepest levels every step and to meet them at every threshold in their heroine's journey, if you think about a whole arc. But, she wanted to build something completely different, a bigger body of work that was kind of a sideline, so a different arc, a different path, a different arm of her business, a bigger body of work that would take months to seed before seeing a cent. And so I reminded her, hey, it's the end of her summer. She's tired. And she's been doing an incredible retreat recently. It's the energy of summer is about taking your foot off the gas and enjoying the wave. So the wave has built, the wave is crashing. It's like catching, I always think of a wave like on a bodyboard or a surfboard. The wave is carrying you home. You don't have to be there paddling hard. You don't have to be there like scanning for the next wave, the next offer. Take your foot off the brake and let the wave bring you home. It's about completing the arc, completing the cycle. And so my suggestion is really Do the easy thing that's also the most efficient, that brings the highest return on investment for the lowest input. And also because it's the natural next step, it's an easier yes for her women. A funnel isn't just social media or newsletters. It's not automations in a way that feels cold. It's heart-led invitation guiding women through each step of that bigger process, each offer sounding at its own gateway. And I think a lot of us can think that if we're not writing emails in the moment from the heart and soul, it's not authentic. But actually, I don't believe that at all. If we're writing these emails, if we're being so intentional, if we're creating these automations, the many chats, all of these different pieces that we have written and put our heart and soul into, just because that scheduling is automated doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make it fake. So the natural next step, it can sell itself passively as women move through the programs. It makes sense for them. And it's not always necessarily the lowest hanging fruit, but where's the opportunity already right in front of you? How can you amplify what you've already got, what you've been working towards, rather than feeling like you need to do the big hard thing because it's exciting? We can actually make cash quicker when we see what's already there. And this is my role as a coach, to help you see your natural next step versus the shiny new thing. It's my role to help you honor your capacity, to channel your focus, to really amplify your genius, and to match that with what your beautiful clients need, and how to help you make the money that is the return on all of your work. And ultimately, the reason why you started this business in the first place, instead of just getting a regular job. It's to do with being able to be in your soul work, making the change, the impact, the bringing to life the vision that you stand here for, and using all of the gifts that you've had to acquire and refine and make so potent through the life journey that you've worked. But you do need to be paid well for it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to keep doing it. I'd also like to share that on my First Moon Circle facilitator training work, I teach women, I've taught nearly 200 women around the world now, how to hold menstrual wisdom circles for girls. For women who really care that girls get the support that we didn't have when we were going through our first periods, when we feel the shame, the discomfort, the lack of information, and we get to this kind of age, midlife, and we're like, oh my God, I'm just now learning about the power and wisdom of my menstrual cycle. How did I not know that? I really want girls to know that so that they get to be in their spiritual energy, their feminine energy, their cyclical rhythm. So they get to really love themselves, love their bodies, be proud of themselves, and avoid mental health, eating disorders, body dysmorphia, and shame around their bodies that comes from not understanding our cycles. I teach women how to then go and hold beautiful first moon circles that are just so empowering and work as a rite of passage. And inside the training, it's really important to me that she is able as well. Any of my trainees, they don't just learn the skills, learn the importance of rites of passage, learn how to work with children, understand how to facilitate a space. They also need to become the woman who is ready to hold the vision, hold the circles, but also be the woman who's the rite of passage ceremonialist in her community, the period woman, the woman who's going to be showing up and inviting people to come to her spaces, who's going to be the cycle breaker in her own family. The identity work, again, is built in, as well as the practical, literally everything you need to know, have all done for you so that you can get out there and practically make it happen. So content alone, learning about the menstrual cycle, doesn't equip you to be able to then walk somebody else through theirs. Learning how to hold a circle is not the same as being able to then be ready to call people in. We have to land it both ways. It's the same principle. The structure and the inner work together, or the vision cannot land. And so it's not about going hard, but it's about building something that really holds you, letting tech hold the logistics, having structure, having strategy, having systems, having plans, hold the foundations of your business. And it's about the inner work to be able to hold you, the energetics, hold that vision, so that when it really drops in and you have to step forwards and be that person who leads whatever it is that you've been manifesting, you're ready. You can actually do that. And more, it's about staying heart-centered and human, especially in an AI-saturated world. And the way that this comes in with ritual and manifesting is rushing it, is bypassing it, is just paying lip service to the ritual. Again, it's not enough to just visualize or make the vision board or light the candle. We have to be really intentional about, can I hold, and what do I need to change in myself and in my world to be able to hold this vision that I'm calling in? So if you're not yet ready to have me work inside your business with you as your coach and walk with you as your initiatory personal priestess, I've got a couple of doors for you I just want to share with you right now. The Sacred CEO Dashboard is a reflection. It's a tool that shows you which is your biggest bottleneck to growth. So it shows you where you don't have the structure and the capacity built out to hold what you're calling in. It shows you where you don't have the offers ready yet at the right pricing, and where the gap is in the client journey, which ones are selling and which ones are not. And it helps you see if you're charging the right price in order to actually make that goal. If you have enough clients to meet that money goal, it's not enough to just say, oh, I want to earn 6 figures or 100,000 or 200,000. How are you actually going to get there? So are you over investing in one offer while the others aren't pulling their weight, which is like having all of your eggs in one basket? Are all of your key offers relying on you to be live too much from a capacity standpoint? It helps you see your money blocks and your strategic blocks, see where the holes are, and think month to month, not just in ritual, but practically and strategically. What am I launching when, creating when, resting when? How do I actually land this goal that I'm manifesting? The Sacred CEO Dashboard is currently $100 off until the 13th of August. And if you would like that, then I'll put the link in the show note to go and grab that for yourself. Go check it out, because it's the most incredible tool. And it's the process I walk my new private clients through, but it's also there for you if I'm not your coach, to hold you and guide you and be that mirror for you. This tool will do it for you. And the second is the First Moon Circle Facilitator Training. This is about becoming the facilitator and stepping into this training that is going to equip you practically, strategically, and to help you be the woman who's ready to hold these spaces. Come and claim your place as Lionsgate. We're currently enrolling for our September 2026 round, and doors close 28th of August, ready for us to start the next week, the first week of September. And then finally, whatever ritual you're doing tonight or tomorrow for Lionsgate Portal, and this is going to be over a few days. The eclipse is coming up next week as well. And so we've got this window this week to really work with these potent energies. If you're lighting a candle, creating an altar, doing a vision board, make sure that you add in this missing step. Write down in practical terms what it actually looks like, what you actually need to do practically in the 3D to land, hold, nurture this vision, to make it real. It's not just the feeling. It's not just the vision. It's not just the high goal. It's the steps. What do you need to do? Who do you need to be? But what do you need to create to hold this vision so that it can flow to you faster? This is a turbocharged window. Let's make the most of it. And so I'm going to dare you. In this window, I want you to break one perfectionist money block. Whether this is send the email, publish the page, or write that piece of content that's really edgy, where you're being really authentic, where you're sharing your amazing offer, where you're actually putting that offer out there, maybe for the first time, and you've been thinking, oh, I'm not quite ready. It's not quite time. Maybe it's putting your price up. Maybe it's creating a really simple, potent, solution-focused offer without a full-blown sales page and setting an amazing price and dropping into the DMs of your most favorite clients and sharing with her, my love, I've been thinking of you. Here's a problem. Here's a solution. Here's the price. Let's go. Are you keen? Maybe there is some other sneaky little way that you have been feeling that you're not ready. You're not her. You're waiting. One day when this is ready, when that is ready, then. Maybe it's not having support in your business. Is there support you actually need to ask to come into your business? Is it letting go of needing to sell by the hour sessions and creating a package instead? Whatever it is, feel into how this perfectionism is blocking you from really dreaming big enough, but also adding in the practical steps that are going to help you to hold this and truly in your body, knowing that you are energetically aligned, steady, that the universe can trust you to receive that vision. So I've got some prompts for you, and I'm going to pop these in the show notes for anyone who wants to sit and do some real journaling and really, really work with this. But I want you to sit here, love. And I want you to feel, what does this vision actually look like in practice? We want to work with the feeling of it, but what does it look like in reality? What's the one practical action this step, this needs from you right now? What do you need to act on? What do you need to claim? What do you need to make practically? What is the weight to that balloon? Where in your business is this currently ungrounded or unsupported? Where is it more like wishful thinking, but the universe might overlook you and go, oh, I'm going to do another lap because you're not quite ready yet. And if you gave the universe coordinates to focus, zone right in, instead of just wishing, what would these coordinates be? What is the focus? What is the specificity of this vision? How do you want it? When do you want it? How do you want it to look and feel? How is it going to support you? And what will it afford you to do? It's not just about having it, it's why. Okay. You know, spiritual teachings, there's a really core one called non-attachment, and you might hear about this a lot. You might never have heard of it. But the practice of non-attachment is about not being attached to the outcome, not being attached to what it looks like. But I also believe that with manifestation, it actually does help to give the universe coordinates, to have an idea. We might not be married to the idea, like super attached to exactly it needing to be like this, because we might be surprised and delighted by something else coming in that's a little bit different, but works even better. But we have to be attached enough, clear enough. We have to put enough prompts into the chat GPT so that it knows what we want and what we don't want. It knows where to put it. And it knows what flavor, what color, what frequency, what energy to give it to you in. Be specific. However you honor or work with or manifest, I hope this is really helpful for you to help you get that next level to complete the bridge from heaven to earth. If this has been a missing piece for you, I think this is going to be like really potent. It's going to blow up your manifestations. Blessed Lionsgate, my love. Drop me a message, a DM on Instagram at charlotte.pointeaux. I'd love to hear how this supports you. I'd love to hear your manifestation stories. You can drop into my DMs with the word dashboard if you want the link to the Sacred CEO dashboard, and also training. If you're interested in taking this First Moon Circle Facilitates training, you can also go scope everything First Moon Circles at firstmooncircleschool.com. This is your moment. Doors are open. The links are here in the show notes. What are you claiming? Go and get it, girlfriend. Blessed be. Thank you so much for listening, my love, to Wildflow Podcast. If you found medicine in this episode, please share it on socials and leave a review. If you are a sacred space holder, a coach, a priestess, a healer. Come and take the free quiz now to discover your sacred feminine leadership style. Understand your frequencies is magic and medicine for your soul client, and how to work with your leadership edge so that you can show up in your sacred authority and create the business that holds you so you don't have to hold it all. Until next time, my love, stay devoted to your body and your spirit as sacred guide as you share your unique medicine in this world.